Grenadiers operational.
Welcome to game 2. Paul pulled off double stern pilots pretty well last game. You could tell he wasn't quite ready for the first Sherman. You could tell, but he recovered. He recovered well. I think he made the right call going with the
Capture complete. No enemy activity.
going with the Jagdpanzer instead of waiting for Panther, which it looked like he wanted to make it to Panther, but he just didn't have time. And it was fine. It was fine. He managed to hunt down and destroy 2 Shermans, even with the Jagdpanzer, even on this map, which I was expecting to be very difficult for him. And he did have a few moments where he was like struggling to get the gun pointed the right direction, but managed to find very good opportunities. We're going to see Dad's Oberkommando West against Paul's Soviets this game. Paul has immediately locked in Shock Rifle and is going to go with an early M3. He is going Soviet Tier 1. Sturm Pioneers trying to set up an ambush right here, hiding behind this structure. And a second, wow, they're both going to go double Sturm Pios apparently. Dad saw it working pretty well for Paul last game. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull off the same thing though. Interesting.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Cooper, prepare for
Volks Grenadiers grabbing the left side VP.
Achtung! Ready weapons. Assemble.
Jeez. Thank you, New Power, for the 333. I will. I'll keep this amazing super competitive esports going. Thank you for the support. Much appreciated. Kappa, Kappa, Kappa. Hey, Kappa, Kappa, hey. M3 going in on the Sturm Pioneers right here in green cover. There's the retreat. Not quite ready for that. Now that he sees an M3, he might go with a mine somewhere. Throwing down early mines, I think, is very important when you go heavy into Sturm Pios or Kubel. Either way, any build that is vulnerable to the quick M3, I think is really important. Thank you for the $5 donation. I really like how 2 people donated different amounts in rapid succession, so you heard the different theme. It plays a different theme the more, it's like a slightly longer theme the more people donate. Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliment and for your $5 donation. Much appreciated. Flamethrower is gonna get the M3 repaired over here on the right side though. So yeah, no mines down from Dad is leaving him vulnerable to the M3. He does have a Raketenwerfer out now. So hopefully he'll find opportunities to take one of those M3s out with the Raketenwerfer. Second Flamethrower for Paul in progress here. Of course not. I mean, if Relic had offered to sponsor a tournament on my stream, I think you would have heard about it. I think I would have mentioned that.
White scout car, ready for orders.
Not that I would expect them to. I'm not affiliated with any esports organizations. Whatever, Stofka, worked really hard to make it that way.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Took a lot of effort. Sturm Pioneers moving into close range against these conscripts inside the house. Trying to brute force his opponent out of the structure. M3 going in on the Sturm Pios right there. That was asking to hit a mine, by the way. A mine in that approach, easy kill. Kind of a shame, but he wants to spend all of the munitions on the Panzerschreck, which is of course a much more reliable, mobile counter to the M3. Having that out now should help create a little bit of space, but he still doesn't have a very hard counter to units in buildings. He needs to try and find a way to get Paul out of this structure here, get territory back under his control.
Weapon team ready.
Reckenwerfer setting up to protect this approach against Paul's next probing attempt. One squad of Volksgrenadiers has to retreat right there. Stern Pioneers working on the fuel, and these Volksgrenadiers jump into the crater for yellow cover, but they are probably still going to lose this medium range against 5 conscripts engaging. And a fresh squad is moving up to secure the building right there, so Paul performing extremely well on all fronts, is definitely taking control of this game.
Conscripts taking fire! There are no cowards here!
Flamethrower is ready.
Conscripts jump into the structure right there. Stern Pioneers are going to retreat away from the M3. Still no mines anywhere, I don't think. Does have the munitions for 1, maybe.
Squad at full strength.
And Paul is going to go with 3 flamethrowers. It looks like his armored assault early game, but he's chosen shock rifles, so he'll have the IS-2, but not the T-485s. A slight modification, but still the same basic principle. Seems to be serving him pretty well. Ooh, big crits. And infantry support gun fielded by Dad. He's basically using the exact same build as his opponent in game 1, trying to utilize it against him. Clearly not having nearly the same amount of success. And I think part of that is because the matchup is different. He's against Soviets rather than US forces. Double Stern Pios is easily punished by a light vehicle. And M3s arrive pretty fast. And M3 with the flamethrower is a pretty notorious counter to Ober Commando West in general for the first several minutes of the game. Let alone against double Stern Pio opening, so. Seems to work a lot better against a 4 rifle opening than a double clown car.
Who needs engineers when you have strong
Finally, a mine is going down, and a minesweeper also moving to try and protect and assist and taking control of territory on the right. Paul hasn't planted that many defenses because he went 3 flamethrowers, so a lot of munitions sunk into flamethrowers.
waiting deployment?
So fortunately, that won't be exploding too much over here on the right side. The clown cars, however, are on their way to support. Reckenwerfer set up for this. M3 is going to take a very wide path, trying to avoid getting hit by any form of anti-tank. I think the Reckenwerfer is spotted by now by the flamethrower in the building, so the M3s are just going to try to stay out of range. Try and get that Reckenwerfer to get into flamethrower range and start taking a bleed. Panzerschreck connects with this M3, so that's got to pull back to safety. One of the Reckenwerfer crew members dies, but the flamethrower actually gets pressured out of the building by infantry support gunfire. Panzerschreck lands another shot on another M3, so they're both going to have to pull back to safety. Oh, and the shoe mine just got detonated by those shock troops. So shock's fielded here by Paul, but they get shut down hard by that mine. That mine definitely turns that engagement in Dad's favor. I think that's two infantry support guns. Yeah, he went with 2. That's incredibly expensive to attempt. Be surprised if that actually pays off. Light damage to that conscript squad. Meanwhile, Paul has gone tier 3 and into a half track.
Aborted field commendation.
This is it.
Stern Pioneers taking control of the center VP right here.
Good and ready.
Army patrols into area.
Come the M3s. I think the only mine Dad has planted is currently gone. Paul making very risky maneuvers through narrow corridors.
Target
There's a very good chance of mines, but so far he hasn't hit anything. Mass retreat back into the base by these Stern Pios and Volksgrenadiers. Looks like both squads are going to make narrow escapes. Infantry support gun certainly isn't going to be nearly as lucky. On the left side, conscripts are taking control of that territory. And Dad has a small amount of territory. The fact that his opponent went tier 3 means he won't have to worry about too much ridiculous call-in spam. IS-2s are going to be here eventually, but they'll be late. So that's helpful. Infantry support gun detonates a flamethrower right there. The pathing of this half-track is blocked, and I think the Raketenwerfer might take it out. Oh, no! Oh, that traffic jam right there just cost Paul dearly. The infantry are running through a burst flamethrower and taking massive damage. Why would Paul continue this engagement? He's trying to make a decisive play here, but it's been shut down pretty hard. It looks like he's going to be able to clear that Raketenwerfer with a grenade from his shock troops, but the M3 is possibly going to be destroyed if these infantry would move up to support and to get there. And I don't think Dad suffered any full wipes. All of his team weapons will be recoverable, and all of his infantry squads are still alive. I don't think Paul suffered any full wipes either, except for the loss of his vehicles. And this shock troop squad, which he's not monitoring, makes a late retreat and it goes down. He's microwing a T-70 over here, trying to hunt down these Volksgrenadiers. I don't know, it's been extraordinarily lethal on both sides. I'm not sure if I know who came out on top of that. Incendiary artillery is coming down here on the battle group headquarters. The fact that Paul has almost absolute map control during this, and might steal this gun, maybe. Stern Pioneers trying to make their way around the flank to catch up. And Dad needs to try and push T-70 out of the base. Jagdpanzer in production now. Again, using Paul's exact build. Stern Pioneers are not going to be able to catch up with this thing. Raketenwerfer can't quite manage to turn around.
Enemy movement! On the flank!
Getting circled straight to death.
Taking fire!
And it's making a pretty dramatic impact. Even after the loss of 2 light vehicles, this one will keep up the pressure and continue to make things difficult. If he loses control of that Raketenwerfer, that could be costly. Jagdpanzer's on the field though, so he has a slightly more mobile, durable counter to his opponent's vehicles now. May struggle to deal with the high mobility of the T-70 though. That's going to be hard to chase down. Here's the first shot. T-70 gets caught making a rotational maneuver. Incendiary artillery dropped on the infantry. Everybody does not get clear. Jagdpanzer snipes it. Moving around the corner. Jagdpanzer makes a good impact right there, taking out Paul's T-70, but Paul's map control grows. He has 2 stolen team weapons now, about to set up a triple cap at 15 minutes and start putting some serious pressure on Dad to take back control of this game. Raketenwerfer that's been stolen, putting pressure on the battle group. Because of where he set it up, it's pretty vulnerable actually. He probably should have put a little bit not right at the end of this road where it can be hit easily from range by anti-tank weaponry. Paul didn't go tier 2, so... Wow, that grenade, almost miraculous clearing of that Raketenwerfer. It might still get cleared. No, gets away. And final M3 has been destroyed here in this engagement by the Jagdpanzer, and everything will be forced to retreat by Paul. With that last light vehicle down, there might be a chance for Dad to come back into this game. It's going to be a little while before the IS-2 arrives. This is Dad's opportunity to get map control back. He didn't lose his battle group either. He almost did, but he's going to get that fully repaired. If he could recover his team weapons, though, that's the real problem. His investment into a second infantry support gun actually is a major deviation from Paul's build in Game 1. So that is probably costing him a little bit. Paul went with Breakthrough Sturmoffizier
You have orders?
to support his stuff. Dad went with an extra infantry support gun. That's going to hurt his ability to cap. Doesn't have that much capping power. Hasn't even chosen a commander, in fact, 9 CPs. If he went scavenge, he could field Jaegers out of buildings. That might help him grow his territory at a slightly quicker rate. Or Luftwaffe. Spec Ops might give him eventual access to the Command Panther to support his Jagdpanzer if the game lasts that long. That would be a very long game, though. I don't know. Not sure what the best option is here. Ostwind, maybe. Nope. Luftwaffe. Alright, he went Luftwaffe, and I'm expecting Fallschirmjäger to try and help at medium range against conscripts and flamethrowers and such. Has to retreat those Volksgrenadiers right there. Fallschirmjäger deployed out of the building. Sturm Pioneers are moving to grab the left side VP.
We are losing territory.
Sturm Pioneers have to retreat from a flamethrower force right there. Flamethrower buddies. Looks like they're going to get away narrowly. Jagdpanzer doesn't really have a role right now while Paul waits for Collins. It's just... Actually, if you put it on prioritized vehicles, it won't automatically rotate to fire at targets, and you can use it as mobile cover. You can use it as green cover. And maybe use it to blow up buildings or cover positions, but other than that, it doesn't do much. Pretty nasty incendiary artillery right there. So far, the decision to field Fallschirmjäger hasn't done much other than bleed Dad's manpower horribly, and it looks like Paul is going to set up absolute map control here. The constant incendiary artillery on the battle group, I think, is part of what's keeping Dad down. He didn't grow his territory fast enough after his engagement win, I don't think, either. Didn't take or hold anything, and he's now lost control of the entire map, and there goes the battle group headquarters. So that's probably the game. I don't think Dad will be able to recover from this situation. And there you have it. GG. Paul will take the series. And takes out his third challenger.